Level 1. The hostile class. You are born with a number, not a name, that has value. A number inside the Songbun system. This is the class system in North Korea, and it determines everything in your life before you take your first breath. Maybe your grandfather fought with the South in the Korean War, or maybe he owned land before the revolution, or maybe he was a Christian, or a trader, or an intellectual, or someone who asked too many questions. Whatever he did, his crime is now your crime. You are in the hostile class, the lowest class of all. 25% of the population lives here with you. You will never leave your mountain village. You will never see Pyongyang. You will never go to university. You will never join the party. You will never travel abroad. You will never own anything of value. You will work in a coal mine or on a collective farm until your body collapses. Then you die, and your children take your place. Your food rations are smaller than everyone else's, and when famines come, and they come often, you are the first to starve. In winter, you eat bark soup. You boiled tree bark, grass, and corn husks to fill your stomach, and you hunt rats and consider them a luxury. Your children look at you with hollow eyes, and you have nothing to give them. Some people in your class disappear. They said something wrong, or looked at a picture of the supreme leader with an expression someone interpreted as disrespect, or listened to a radio broadcast from South Korea, or tried to cross the river into China. They are sent to political prison camps. No one returns from those camps. You have heard the rumors from guards who drink too much. Entire families disappear. 3 generations are punished for the mistake of one person. Grandparents, parents, and children are all sent to dig in mines until they die. You keep your head down. You work 16 hours a day. You ask no questions, not even think about questions, and hope that one day, maybe after 100 years, your grandchildren will be allowed to be human. Level 2. The wavering class. You are in the middle, not loyal enough to be trusted, and not disloyal enough to be eliminated. Your family has no clear crimes, but also no clear heroes. Maybe your father was just a simple factory worker, and maybe your mother was a teacher who said something critical once decades ago, and someone remembered. The state is not sure about you, so you are watched. Not as heavily as the hostile class, but you are watched. You can work in a factory in a small city. You can become a teacher, a nurse, or a minor official, but you will never work in Pyongyang. The capital is reserved for the loyal. You will never travel abroad, and you will never see your file, that file that determines your entire life. It exists somewhere inside a government office, filled with informant reports, party officials' notes, and evaluations of your ideological reliability. All you know is that some doors are closed. Your food rations are sufficient when times are good. You have electricity for a few hours a day, maybe. You have a small apartment with a picture of the supreme leader, and you must keep it perfectly clean. Dust on the face of the great leader is considered a political crime. You report to the Neighborhood Watch Committee, the Inminban. They know when you come home. They know who visits you. They count how many bowls you have and how many pairs of shoes, and they know if you are hiding something. Once a week, self-criticism sessions are held. You stand in front of your neighbors and confess your ideological shortcomings. You did not study the teachings of the supreme leader enough. You were late to the factory. You had a selfish thought. You envied your neighbor's radio. Everyone confesses something. Those who confess nothing are suspicious, and those who confess too much are also suspicious. You must confess exactly the right amount. Level 3. The core class. You are trusted. Your grandfather was a revolutionary who fought against the Japanese occupation and marched with Kim Il-sung across the frozen Yalu River. Loyalty runs in your blood, or at least that's what the state believes. You live in a good apartment in a provincial city. You have a television that receives only the state channel, but you have one.
You watch the news every night, the same triumphant reports about record harvests, factory production, and the brilliant guidance of the supreme leader. You have a refrigerator, even though the electricity cuts out so often that keeping food cold becomes a gamble. You can apply for a bicycle permit, and a bicycle is a luxury. You can visit relatives in other provinces if you have the proper papers, if you apply weeks in advance, and if you explain exactly why you need to travel. Your children can enter university if they study hard, pass ideological exams, and show the proper revolutionary spirit. University means a better job, better food rations, and maybe even an assignment in Pyongyang. You are not rich, but you are stable. You have food when others do not. You have a future while others have only survival. You are grateful to the supreme leader for everything you have. You have been taught gratitude since the day you were born. Every meal, every piece of clothing, every breath you take is a gift from the party. You believe this, and you must believe it, because the alternative is unimaginable. Because the alternative would mean that everything you built and everything your grandfather fought for was a lie.
Level 4. Party Member. You joined the Workers' Party of Korea, and this is your first real step toward the elite. Only 10% of the population are allowed in. Current members had to recommend you, vouching for your loyalty. You had to prove yourself through years of volunteer work and unpaid labor for the state. You had to memorize the teachings of the supreme leader, his father Kim Jong-il and his grandfather Kim Il-sung. You can recite the history of the revolution by heart. You know every battle, every hero, every enemy, and every victory against the American imperialists and their puppet regime in the South. And now you have access. You can shop in special stores with goods ordinary citizens have never seen before. Imported fruit, real coffee, chocolate, and medicine that actually works. You get better housing in a better neighborhood. You receive a party membership card that opens doors, real doors closed to everyone else. But with access comes responsibility. You must attend party meetings every week, sometimes more. You must contribute a portion of your salary. You must volunteer in political campaigns. You must recruit others and guide their ideological development. You must report disloyalty. If your neighbor says something suspicious about the regime, you must tell someone. If you don't report it and someone else does, you are complicit. You become an informant. Everyone is an informant. The party stays alive because no one trusts anyone. Not your coworkers, not your neighbors, not your spouse, especially not your spouse. Marriage is a partnership, but loyalty to the party comes first. Level 5. Local Cadre. You are now a cadre, a local official with real responsibility. Maybe you manage a factory that produces textiles or machinery. Maybe you oversee an area with 10,000 people. Maybe you supervise agricultural production for an entire province. You have real authority for the first time, and authority means responsibility and danger. Everything within your scope is your fault. If production drops, you are held accountable. If unrest occurs, you are held accountable. If someone escapes to China, you are held accountable. If there is a flood, a drought, or a disease outbreak, you are held accountable. You cannot blame the workers. You cannot blame the weather. You cannot blame the system. The system is perfect. It does not fail. Only people fail. The supreme leader's directives are flawless. Only your execution is lacking. You learn how to falsify records. Everyone does it. You inflate production numbers in your reports beyond reality. You hide problems and cover up accidents, because if the truth comes out, you will be brought down. And being brought down means losing everything: your apartment, your party membership, your access to special stores, your family status. Being brought down means becoming part of the wavering class, or worse. So you lie.
You lie to your superiors, who lie to their superiors, who lie to Pyongyang. The Central Committee receives reports of record harvests while people are starving in the villages. The whole country runs on lies, stacked on top of lies. The Supreme Leader probably knows, he must know, but the lies are part of the system, and the system needs lies to function. Level 6, Pyongyang Elite. You have made it. You live in the capital. Only 3 million people are allowed to live here, the most loyal, the most connected, the most useful. Everyone else is forbidden to enter without special permission. There are checkpoints on every road leading into the city. Pyongyang does not look like the rest of the country. There are skyscrapers and wide streets. There are cars, actual private cars, not just military vehicles. There are stores with real products in the windows. There are restaurants, theaters, and parks that look almost modern, almost natural, almost like a real city. Foreign visitors see only Pyongyang. They do not see the villages where children eat grass. You have a nice apartment with stable electricity, at least most of the time. You have hot water. You have access to carefully selected foreign films that show the moral decay and corruption of the West. You have a car, maybe even a status symbol that tells everyone you matter. You send your children to elite schools where they learn languages, science, and the correct way to serve the system. But even here, you are watched. Especially here. The capital is saturated with surveillance. In every building, informants are planted. On every floor, in every office, someone is listening. Your phone is monitored. Your conversations are tracked. Secret police walk the streets in plain clothes, watching for any sign of disloyalty. You can fall at any moment from one wrong word, one suspicious friendship, or one relative who defected to the South. And the higher you rise, the farther and harder you fall. Level 7, Military General. You wear the uniform, that sharp green jacket covered with medals stretching from your shoulder to your waist. Some of these medals you earned over decades of service. Others were given to you because the Supreme Leader likes your face, or because you applaud it louder at the right moment. You command thousands of soldiers, and on paper, millions. The Korean People's Army is one of the largest standing armies in the world, but your soldiers are undernourished teenagers who faint during parade drills. Your equipment is Soviet-era machinery that hasn't been updated since the 1980s. Your tanks haven't moved in years because there is no fuel to run them. Your aircraft sit idle. Your fleet rusts in the harbor. But it doesn't matter, because your job is not to fight a real war, but to threaten one. You stand behind the Supreme Leader in parades. You take notes during his speeches you will never read again. You clap for exactly the same length of time as everyone else, no more, no less. You are a prop, a symbol. The medals on your chest are part of the performance. But you also have real power, real economic power. The military controls factories, mines, and construction projects. It runs its own parallel economy, separate from the civilian government. And you take your cut from that economy. Everyone does. You live well. You have a villa outside the city, servants, and access to the most restricted goods: Scotch whiskey, Cuban cigars, Mercedes cars. No one questions a general. But other generals are watching. The Supreme Leader rotates commanders constantly. He never allows anyone to build too much loyalty among the troops. He promotes and demotes unpredictably. He executes generals who become too popular, too ambitious, or too comfortable. You must be loyal, but not too ambitious, visible, but not too prominent, competent, but not threatening. It is a balancing equation, and many fail. You have seen colleagues disappear. You attended their funerals, knowing they were most likely executed. Then you clapped with everyone else, as if nothing had happened.
Level 8, the Inner Circle. You are now close to the center. You work at party headquarters in Pyongyang,
or in the National Defense Commission, or in the Organization and Guidance Department, the most powerful and secretive institution in the country. You see top-secret documents that an ordinary citizen could be executed just for knowing exist. You know about the famines that officially never happened. You know about the millions who died while the state announced record harvests. You know about the purges, thousands of officials who were arrested, tortured, executed, and erased from photographs. You know about the nuclear program and the missile tests. You know that the economy is barely held together by foreign aid, illegal arms sales, cyber theft, and methamphetamine exports. You attend meetings with the Supreme Leader himself, not often, but sometimes. You stand against the wall while he speaks. You agree with everything. You laugh at his jokes. You applaud his ideas. You never offer an opinion unless asked, and when you are asked, you give the opinion he wants to hear. You have learned how to read his face, how to anticipate what he wants before he knows it himself. You have seen what happens to those who say the wrong thing. There was a deputy minister who suggested a small policy change. He was executed with an anti-aircraft gun in front of 100 officials, his body literally torn apart. The message was clear. The closer you are to power, the more dangerous it becomes. You sleep lightly. You change your routine constantly. You trust no one, not even your family. Your wife reports to someone. Your children are leverage. Everything you love can be used against you. Level 9, the royal family. You share blood with the Kim family. Maybe you are a cousin, an aunt, an uncle, or maybe you married into the family. You are part of a royal family in a country that officially claims to have no kings. There is only the pure bloodline of the revolutionary Mount Paktu family. You live in compounds that do not appear on any map, guarded by soldiers who would die before letting anyone in. You spend your vacations in Switzerland, in the Alps, skiing on slopes your country's citizens will never see. You shop in Beijing, in Singapore, in Moscow. You have seen the outside world, and you know how different it is. You know that everything you were taught was a lie, but you can never speak about it, not even among yourselves. You are treated like a god inside the country and like a hostage everywhere else. The system needs you for legitimacy. The bloodline must continue, and the myth depends on the Kim family appearing above human. But you are also a threat. Every family member is a potential rival for power. Kim Jong-un assassinated his half-brother with a nerve agent in a Malaysian airport. His uncle, one of the most powerful men in the country, was executed for treason and erased from history. Being part of the family does not protect you, it makes you a target. You are watched more than anyone else. Your loyalty must be absolute and visible at every moment. You attend every ceremony, every parade, every funeral. You cry on command. You worship the leader publicly and theatrically because the alternative is death. Level 10. The Supreme Leader. You are the sun, the center of everything. Your face hangs in every building, every home, every classroom. Your words are scripture. Your decisions are divine law. 25 million people have been taught since birth that you are a god descended from a sacred mountain. You have nuclear weapons. You can destroy cities. You have absolute power over life and death within your borders. You can execute anyone for any reason or no reason at all. No court, no trial, no appeal. You are the richest person in one of the poorest countries on earth. You have palaces across the country, yachts that never leave the harbor, private islands, and a personal train with armored carriages. You import luxury cars by the dozens and cognac by the crate, while your people eat grass and tree bark. And yet, you are completely, utterly alone. You trust no one. Not your wife, not your sister, not your generals, not your closest advisors. Everyone around you wants something. Everyone is performing. Every smile is calculated. Every compliment is survival instinct. You can never truly know what anyone is thinking. Your generals smile and take notes, but would they kill you if they thought they could get away with it? Your family members bow to you and praise you, but you have already killed some of them, and they know their turn may come next. Your father was like this. Your grandfather was like this. This is what absolute power looks like, a prison made of gold. You watch footage of yourself on state television. You see crowds crying with joy at the sight of your face, and you wonder if any of it is real. You wonder if you are real, or if you were just playing a role written for you before you were born. You are barely 40, and you will rule until you die. There is no retirement. There is no escape. And when you die, if you have an heir, the cycle will continue. Another Kim will take your place on the throne. Another god will be manufactured, and the system will continue grinding generations, one after another, built on fear, hunger, lies, and nuclear weapons. And somewhere, in a village in the mountains, a child is being born right now. The state will assign him a number in the Songbun system. His entire life will be decided before he takes his first breath. He will worship you until the day he dies, never knowing that you are trapped just like him, only inside a much larger cage. And the cycle continues.